3 months ago, I made this video. I predicted the future events of Titanfall 2, but was I right? It's time to find out. About the time of making the original video, it was quite a significant time in which way the fate of Titanfall 2 would swing, and that's why I found it so interesting to try and predict whether specific outcomes would appear as the future of Titanfall 2. Now let me give you some context. At that point, I knew North Star was a thing in progress. Most of you watching probably didn't know about it, but I knew that North Star was being developed and knew that it could possibly give some people custom servers. Now from my knowledge at that point, only the developers of North Star and maybe one or two others were actually accessing it and testing it. No one publicly was available to go on North Star or basically even knew about it. This is also the point where no one could play. Not on console, not on PC, DDoS riddled the entire player base and no one could play. This proved to be a significant time for the fate of Titanfall 2, so I came up with two different outcomes, first being a more unlikely outcome.
We are delighted to inform you that the Titanfall 2 DDoSing has stopped and world peace can occur. No.
It was pretty unlikely that this was actually going to happen. But then I predicted the second outcome. And let me go over some of the predictions I made in this. Firstly, I say that Respawn are going to either ignore people's pleas for Titanfall 2 to be saved, or just make up some more vague rubbish about it being in their DNA. This was a pretty safe guess. They'd done it before and it was likely that they'd do it again, and they did. Radio silence from Respawn over Titanfall 2 issues have been solid since that video was posted, and we still haven't heard anything about it. But this next bit, I got spot on. The extent of North Star, the modding software, will most likely be brought into the full view of the community, and the PC players start to revive the game part by part via the North Star modding application. And I add a bit onto the end to say that custom servers will be diverse in what customs are actually available. That was also correct. However, that was a pretty easy guess as well. It's a modded open source client and it was pretty likely that new game modes and mods would spring out of North Star. However, something I didn't predict was the state of console. Well, yes, I did suggest that console would rely on Respawn to be fixed and that the console player base would be unable to play for a long time. However, I didn't predict that console player base 3 months down the line will be able to play to an extent. Obviously it's a little hit and miss nowadays, but console games are possible to get into and play. So now it's time to do another prediction. My prediction is that North Star will hold up well. I think there will be attempts to DDoS or disrupt it, and there have been already 1 or 2 tries already. But because the creators of the client can modify it, I think that they will be able to fix exploits with different updates and patches, and it will hold up pretty well. Because of this, I'd assume that Titanfall 2 PC will stay pretty strong, new game modes, mods and weapon skins would be added, and what I really want in the future is to be possible to edit the appearances of pilots, to be different things like the goat from Goat Simulator,
Magusta,
or something cool like that. That would be content heaven. But console, I think the game will be relatively 50-50 in kind of the state going forward. I don't think much will really change with the state of console at the moment, unless the extremely unlikelihood of Respawn doing something or something else changing. What about you though? What do you think will happen in the future? And for anyone it concerns, I'll probably upload on Sundays rather than Wednesdays because it's a weekend rather than a weekday. Thank you all for watching, everybody. I appreciate you. I'll see you next week.